gets her rocks off watching Desperate Housewives.
Hello America, welcome to the show again. This is Don Coleman. Alright, this week's show we're going to do a little bit about the budget to try and get you to understand how out of control we really are. And it's going to take sacrifice from everybody. Union leaders, do you hear me out there? You're going to have to cut back with the money and the benefits, okay? Post office, government unions, everybody's going to have to cut back. We need to cut back the size of government. It is drastically oversized. All right, this is not what the forefathers intended. The federal government was supposed to be small. The state governments were supposed to have all the control. Please, somebody explain to me why the states give a good chunk of their tax money to the federal government so the federal government can give it back to the states. The reason being is that so the federal government can be the big boy on the block, and that's not the way the system was set up. We've lost our way. We have got to get back to the Constitution and what the forefathers wanted us to be. Okay? So here's an interesting chart that I'm going to hold up for you here. Okay? This is from 1970 to 2010. All right? Now, in 1970, the federal budget was $883 billion with a B, billion dollars in 1970. In 2009, the federal budget was $3.18 trillion with a T dollars. A little bit bigger. Okay? Now, to give you an idea, the government has grown in size from 1970 to 2010 242%. Now, your household income has grown 29%. So in 1970, the average income in the United States was $39,403. In 2010, it was $50,893, a 29% increase. In 2070, the federal budget was $883 billion. Now it's $3.18 trillion. Okay? So that's how out of control that we are. And it has to stop. And it can't just stop. There has to be deep, deep, deep cuts in the federal government. Okay? Now, this next chart is going to really blow your mind. All right? This is a chart from 1968 to 2008. Okay? Now, in 2008, you can see right here that the amount of spending on all other programs was 29%, and in 1968 it was 31%. So you go, well, gee, that's good. It went down 2%. Good job. In 1968, the amount of other programs spending was $600 million. In 2008, it was $1 trillion. So it went down 2%, but the spending went up to $1 trillion. Okay? Now the blue section. In 1968, 46% of the federal budget was for defense. In 2008, it was 21%. There again, you say, good job, federal government. That's the way we want you to shrink. Not. Okay. In 1968, the defense budget was $920 million. In 2008, it was over $600 billion. Now the green area, as you see here, 6%, 8%, that's not so bad. The green area is the interest that we're paying on the loans, the money we keep borrowing that we don't have. All right. In 1968, the interest was $120 million a year. In 2008, it was $240 billion a year. 120 million to 240 billion. Now, the orange is Medicare and Medicaid. Okay? In 1968, we spent 4% of the federal budget on Medicare and Medicaid. $80 million. In 2008, it's $600 billion. We went from 80 million to 600 billion. Social Security is the red. All right? It was 13% of the federal budget in 1968, which was $260 million. In 2008, it was 21% of the federal budget, $600 billion. Now, is anybody not getting this? Is there anybody that can't see that this is insanity? Tell me, who runs their house like this? If you make $60,000 a year, do you spend $400,000? If you make $250,000 a year, do you spend $1 million? Well, if you're an NBA star or a movie star, I guess you do. But you know what? The rest of us don't. And if we don't have the money, we don't spend it. We cut back. Now, everybody likes to have nice things. Who doesn't? I'd be lying if I told you I didn't. I love nice things. But I'm driving a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee that's been paid for in a year and a half. I bought it in 2004. I paid it off a year and a half later. And I'm still driving it. Now, would I like to drive a Mercedes-Benz? Absolutely. But you know why I don't? Can't afford it. So, what makes the federal government think they can afford it? You know what? You know why? Because it's your money. They don't give a damn. They'll just keep spending it and raising our taxes until we tell them and demand that they stop. Now, this goes back to part of last week's show. All right? The difference between Republicans and Democrats. They're all the same now. They're all progressives. John McCain, he's the same as Barack Obama. He would have spent us into oblivion. We need fiscal, conservative people in Congress with morals. All right? That's who we have to vote for. So, folks, keep up the good fight. We're going to win this thing. We're going to start in November, and we're going to keep on going until we kick Barack insane Obama's butt out of office. This is Don Coleman. God bless you.